Welcome to Community Connections, where we highlight organizations that bring people together. On our first episode, we are featuring the Neepawa Men's Shed.
Give you a little background on Men's Shed, and I know we've gone over this before, but for those who haven't heard it, Men's Shed is an entity that was created in Australia in the 1980s, and it was to look into isolation and depression and some suicides from men in Australia, and it was created to address that problem of the isolation that some men had felt as they got into their senior years and maybe sold the house and moved into a smaller thing, and that shed out back where you used to go and putter with your friends and visit and chat is now gone, and so that's where the isolation comes in, and the depression that maybe followed that. So it was created as a way to improve mental health, and mental health increases physical health and longevity for life. And it was in the early 80s that it was started, but in I think it was 2007, there were over 900 men's sheds in Australia by that time. So there are many. It's now spread around the world. It's very well received in the UK, Ireland, Scotland. The US has many men's sheds, and Canada has 38. And there's 9 or 10 in Manitoba here. 2008, there was 2011. A guy named Doug Mackey out of Winnipeg caught on to the idea and thought it was a wonderful idea and started creating men's sheds in Winnipeg, and created a men's shed in Manitoba, and also created Men's Shed Canada, and it spread right across the country. Yep. So Doug Mackey from Winnipeg was the one who came out in 2019, in the fall of 2019. He knew Amanda Nottingale, and between him and Amanda, they said, let's have a little meeting and see if we can get some interest for a men's shed in Neepawa. It kind of started from there. We haven't grown as fast as we had anticipated or wanted, just because just about the time we were getting going, COVID hit. So, you know, the winter of 2000, when we really should have been gaining steam, it was everybody was a little bit separated.
Yes.
So, but we have been able to maintain and carry on with a small, fairly dedicated group. But now that things are opening up a little bit from COVID and we're feeling a little more comfortable with it, we're really hoping to increase our numbers, and the more members we have, the more fraternity and ideas and companionship and camaraderie we get.
Yes.
Good morning, my name is Colin McNairnay. I'm the coordinator for the Neepawa Area Men's Shed. And here we are this morning in the storefront of the Touchwood building that displays many of the things that we build for Touchwood, like this table and chairs that are sitting in front of us, or the tray, or the nesting boxes over here. We've got some benches, little stools that we've built for them, a nice Adirondack chair in the corner here, and some planters that we built last fall for Touchwood. And we build these projects for Touchwood in exchange for use of this fabulous, wonderful facility that they allow us to use. The objectives of Men's Shed, and I'll just talk about our objectives here, is just to give men in the area a place to come and chat with people who have the same kind of interests, keep them engaged, camaraderie. We meet 2 times a week. There's nothing expected of you other than, you know, show up and just chat with us and have a cup of coffee. If you enjoy woodworking, most of us go into the back of the shop and do some woodworking. If you don't, we can also have crib boards and things like that around in our coffee area. But it's just to get somebody out of the house, and we're much more active in the winter time when we tend to be a little more sedentary. But it's to get people out of the house, men out of the house, and engaged in something in the community 2 times a week. We meet from 9 o'clock in the morning to 11:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you've got something else that's going on, great, go and do it. Just come when you can. We have some members that are more active at other times a year because they've got things going on, like curling or any of the activities, shuffleboard over at the activity center at the hand office. So we're quite open and free to input anything you want into it. Our funding is primarily from Miles for Mental Health. The Beautiful Plains Community Foundation has made generous donations to us, but none of the projects that we build are sold by us. We are contracted or requested by community organizations to do something for them. You might see the benches around Main Street. We've built all of those benches, and planters across the street at Arts Forward. There's large, I guess they would be garden planters for the table to field to table program. We built those for them. What we do generally is if we have a project we requested, we would ask the person or the organization that requests the project to fund all the materials. You supply all the materials, our labor is always free. The only thing you have to put into it is the materials. We also say that we don't work on a timeline. So if you want a project built, don't tell us that you need it in a month or a couple of weeks or something like that, because we do spend half of our time just talking, chatting, visiting. And then when we're tired of doing that, we'll get up and we'll go into the shop and start working on the project. So projects generally take a long time because doing the projects is not our purpose. Getting together and talking and camaraderie and joking around with each other, that's our purpose. The projects that we do are quite secondary to that. So that's generally how we operate here. It's quite free, it's quite loose. We are not affiliated with any organization in town, any user group, any church, any kind of organization. We have no affiliation. We are only affiliated with each other, and that's it. So there's nothing expected of you. So far our funding has been good enough that we do not ask members to pay a membership fee. If you've got some loose change in your pocket and you want to throw it into the coffers to buy coffee or some creamer, that's great. We never seem to run out of that. But we never seem to run out of projects either. We always have enough projects in town to keep us going. And when Touchwood asks us to do a project, we sort of stop everything else and we do the Touchwood projects. These projects that you see around here are how we pay our rent. When they want us to do things, projects for them to sell in the store, we will complete their projects, and that is our exchange with Touchwood, is that we get to use this facility in exchange for doing these projects for them. It's a wonderful symbiotic relationship, and we're so fortunate to have this building and this facility, and we can't thank Touchwood enough for the use of it. So we try and do all of their projects as quickly as we can to get them into the store, and as I say, that's how we actually pay our rent. We don't have a real structure. I'm the coordinator and I take care of organizing and financing, but everybody else is just members of the men's shed, and the structure's really from the bottom up. The Men's Shed organization in Manitoba, there's Men's Shed Manitoba, of which I am on the board of directors, and then there's a Men's Shed Canada, and then there's a World Men's Shed organization. So there are thousands of men's sheds around the world. There are, I think, currently a dozen in the province, 12 or 13, and I believe there are about 60 or so across Canada. Just about every province has some men's sheds. BC has quite a few of them. And so we're quite well spread around the globe. Men's Shed started in Australia in the 80s and has spread from there all around the globe. Anyways, our local Men's Shed, we are not controlled by Men's Shed Manitoba or Men's Shed Canada of what we can or can't do. We do whatever the members in our shed want to do, as little or as much. We choose in this community, with Neepawa Area Men's Shed, to do projects that are for the community rather than for individuals. And we do that because we're community funded. And
Can you tell us something more about the membership? How many members do you have and who can be members? Do you have certain criteria for people to be?
Yes. Well, we have on our list 10 or a dozen members on our list. We regularly have anywhere from 6 to 8 that will show up in any given day. If the weather's a little bit bad, there might be only a couple or something like that. In the summertime, we sometimes will take a month or two off because everybody's got their own things they're doing in the summertime. But 6 to 8 is pretty regular. Say we have 10 or 12 listed on the books. Men's Shed generally is open to all men. We have had a few women who have asked if they can come and get instruction on using some of the equipment in the shop. We've been a little bit hesitant about that just because of liability insurance. We have liability insurance that covers our members if something happens or somebody is hurt on the job. Then they are covered with the liability. If you bring people in, we're not sure whether that would cover them. But if we have requests from people outside of that sphere, we'll certainly entertain it. As I say, we're driven from the ground up. We're not driven from Men's Shed rules from the top down. So there is no, you can only bring these people in and you can't bring these people in. It's totally our decision running the shed here.
How about the age group?
Well, generally, Men's Shed was designed for senior men. The idea is that, and when it started in Australia, when somebody retires and you find you've gone from a lifelong career to having nothing to do, then you get bored. And some of it was your wife saying, get out the door and do something. It was also to address mental health and suicide in Australia, and did a wonderful job of that. And one of our foundations is combating mental health. Now, having said that, we don't have any of our members that I know of that have any mental health issues. But we also know that getting out and socializing and having something to do promotes good mental health. And while we're here, we can joke at each other and jab things at each other, and it's all in good spirit. It's all good banter, and we really enjoy each other's company, and that's good mental health just in itself.
During your meetings, do you also hold like certain information sessions, or just it's just
we haven't, and we should. And I know that there has been a couple of the groups, government facilities around Neepawa that have asked to come and do presentations, and we should be doing that, and we probably will more in the future, and have them come in and do some presentations. So yes, that is something that quite a few of the sheds around the country do, and we should do more of. Now, having said that, every member in Men's Shed has a different career, had a different career, and we're all retired now. So we go from teachers to mechanical engineers to an electrician to a Red Seal chef to a mechanic. I was a conservation officer for my career. So everybody has a different skill set, everybody's got a different career, but we all have one thing that we like to do with the group we have now, and that's carpentry projects and things like that. So we've got an electrician in there who didn't know much about carpentry when he joined a year ago. He's pretty good. He's doing a lot better. But you know, it's all something we have interest in. But you don't have to have an interest in carpentry. You know, we want the banter back and forth. So if you come into the shop and you don't want to make anything, but just sit there in the stool and chat with us as we're doing things, or hold the other end of the board while we're cutting it. That's all we ask. It's just, you know, come and be present and chat at us while we're doing stuff. And if we have more members that aren't going into the shop at all and want to stay out here and just have coffee and a little something to eat, and play crib, or anything like that, or any card games or board games, that's perfectly all right too. Because the whole idea is the getting together and banter and chatting and just being a cohesive group that likes being together. The products we do, whether it's in the shop or whether it's playing cards, well, that's secondary. It's the getting together and the chatting with each other that's primary.
So how about for new members who doesn't have any experience with carpentry? Do you train them first, or do you just...
Okay. If they have an interest in coming into the shop, they'll be able to come in and learn some new skills. You know, we'll show them how to use the various equipment, and there'll always be another person with them to make sure they're not, you know, doing anything that's dangerous. You know, of course, if you're new in the shop, we might not have you using the big table saw, you know, because that takes off fingers fairly quickly. But no, I'm not missing one. Yeah, there's lots of skills to be learned. I had always done carpentry, little bits of it, you know, my whole life. But I've learned lots of skills being in there. We have a couple of people in there that are actually very good carpenters. So there's always something to be learned from them, whether it's actual, you know, how to put things together or designing things. You know, there's always something to be learned in the shop, if you're interested.
So how about when it comes to partnerships? Who are the organization that you partner with? And
well, we do have a few. We've done an awful lot of work for Arts Forward. And we did, Arts Forward gave us a meeting room in our early days and a place to go. And we've only been in here not even a year yet. And so Arts Forward gave us a place to go over there. We've done quite a few projects for them because Arts Forward is a community-centered organization. So that fits with sort of our focus. And it's not a men's shed mandate, it's just our personal focus. You know, with community money, we do community projects. And that's worked well. You know, and we've done a few projects for the town. If you go down to the flats, there's the storybook station that's all around the flats. We built those for the town. So as we don't have any firm partnerships, we've just taken on a project for the Yellowhead Community Center to build a few benches for them. So it's whoever is a community organization that has a need for something that they don't need a rush order on, but a need for something that we can do in the shop. What we don't do is leave the shop and go out and do projects, you know, build something somewhere outside the shop. It's the small projects we can do in the shop, because really the projects are not our focus. It's the getting together things we can do in here. So things like a couple of benches, you know, we can build here and then take down and drop off there.
so the organization provides all the materials, and then you just make all those, like that. It's just the labor that you provide.
We supply the labor. Now, you know, having said that, we have done a couple of projects for, say, the Margaret Lawrence House that would have to go out and fundraise to raise the money to buy the material to do the project. So in small little things like that, we'll foot the whole bill for it. We'll get the material. And we'll take it out of our budget and we build it for them so that they don't have to go out and fundraise for it. It just seems to be a lot easier. It's not an awful lot of expense for us to go and do that for small projects. For larger projects, for things like the town, we tell them the material they want, and then they'll bring us the material and we'll build it. What we've done for Arts Forward for all those benches, you know, we'll tell Yvonne, you know, what we need for material, and then we'll actually go over to Co-op and charge it back to Arts Forward. But they pay for all the material and the glue and screws and things like that. And then all the tools we need we have here, to do the projects we have. So we're good.
How did you get all those in your working space? All those
all the tools?
yeah, all the tools that you have.
They were probably 80% here when we got here. They had a very well stocked shop in the back there because they've done projects for their clients for
Like
many
the
years.
Touchwood Parks.
Touchwood
Oh,
has. And Touchwood for many years had a carpenter that was hired that would go in and do the wood cutting in there. They don't want their clients working with a lot of the equipment in there because they can be dangerous. So they had a carpenter hired. The carpenter had retired quite a few years ago. So we fit the bill coming in to be able to go in there and cut and assemble all the materials that they need. And then, say something like this thing here, we would build it and put it all together. They will finish sanding it and then stain it and sell it. So we do the construction and the assembly. But most of the stuff was there. There are quite a few hand tools that we bought with money that was donated for Miles for Mental Health. We've also had two family groups that have donated equipment to us where, one person who was a carpenter, he passed away, and another one is moving out of his carpentry shop and his wife has passed away. So they have all these tools that we'll go down there and they'll donate tools to us. So some of it is new stuff that we bought through donation from Miles for Mental Health, and some of it is some used carpentry tools that we've had from people. So, having said that, if there is somebody who is getting out of carpentry or, has had a family tragedy where there's carpentry tools that aren't, you don't know what to do with, let us know. We may not take them all just because we only have limited space. But there's always a few things in every carpentry shop that we can see, yes, we can use that. So, right now we have all the tools that we need to do the projects we're currently doing.
Okay, so these are the stuff that you did for Touchwood.
Sure.
Yeah.
Touchwood may ask us to build a bench for them.
Yeah.
So we'll build a basic bench. And then we don't do the finishing on it. They finish it the way they want it.
Okay.
And so it might be like that, or it may just have a light finish like this on it. Or I see Touchwood has taken it and painted it and put a little quilt on it. And so that's nice. But we just build the basic product for them, and they can put on whatever they need afterwards. And these are some of the stacking boxes that we built for them. We call them nesting boxes. So you can nest them like this, and they can be a bookshelf. Or these are the nesting boxes down over here. So you can stack them up, or they can sit on your shelf like this.
Yeah, looks good, yeah.
Yeah, and they can get out of the way if you want. Now, for all of these boxes, Menshed provided the material because this is all reclaimed cedar.
Okay.
This is cedar that came out of an old hydro pole that we reclaimed, and this was some cedar that was some old decking that we just planed down until we came back to some good wood. Okay, so this is our kitchen area here where we start our meetings in the morning, at 9 o'clock, and we did originally meet from 9:30 to 11:30. But we found out we were spending so much time sitting around talking and enjoying each other's company that we weren't getting enough shop time in, so we decided to start half an hour earlier at 9 o'clock. We were doing too much talking, which is great. It's really what we're here for.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful kitchen area. We can have more people or future presentations with people. And we have our own coffee machine and all our equipment here. So it's a wonderful spot.
Yeah.
Now we'll take you into the shop.
Yeah, we're going to the shop.
It will be noisy in here.
They're all tied together. We went through there.
Okay, so this is your working space.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can
Gary's.
So this is for Touchwood as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They're selling it or just for them to use?
For them
okay.
to sell in the store.
Oh, okay, okay. Mention which, apart from that, what the other projects?
Well, these guys over here are working on a chair. They've got these chairs that Touchwood, that when they break, they bring them in here and we fix them.
Oh, okay.
Now, what
That
we,
one.
And the other one, that
put
one?
this all,
You have Morris over there. He's building shelves that will go in that bench that he's working on. That's our own bench for working with. So that's the project we work on when we're not doing other people's projects. We'll work on that bench. So he's just building drawers that go in
Okay.
there. It's
yeah,
For your own use?
for our own use.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it's also on wheels, so that we can wheel it out of there
yeah.
and put it right here.
Now,
So
we
if
should
we're
do
using the
before
saw
we
and you've got long
do
pieces
that,
of wood,
make sure
we've
that
got a longer
these bolts are gonna fit.
thing for the wood to slide out of.
Oh, okay,
A
yeah,
whole sheet
yeah.
of plywood.
Because if they're in the wrong,
Working on
Okay,
that.
yeah.
But most of these tools are Touchwood tools. A lot of the hand tools are our own. But most of these are all Touchwood tools that we use. And it's a good little shop. It's just, you know, it's not too big, but it's just big enough.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't get too many projects going on at once, because then it gets too crowded.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, as things come in, you know, Touchwood will bring us things that need repair, just like that.
Just like the chair.
Like the chair that we Yeah.
So any community organization like who needs repairs for anything for
No.
their no,
No.
just
We do this for Touchwood, you know, because they allow us to use their facility.
oh,
So
okay.
how we pay rent, and this is, we only do it for Touchwood.
Okay. Okay. Anything else that you want to mention for here in your working area,
I don't know.
or the other?
We want safer, we want more materials, like a better table saw. Because if you don't have a good table saw like that,
Oh,
that's not like a long-term goal, would be to replace that with a much safer saw.
okay. Yeah. So Touchwood is no longer using this.
Yes, they do.
Sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah, they still, you know, have some of their people will, their clients don't use the equipment in here. But I think they still have some people that come in and use it, not while we're here. So
okay.
we don't see what they use when we're not here.
Okay. Yeah.
But there is some sawdust around and little bits of wood, so somebody does come in and do some cutting. The evidence is here. I'd mentioned tools before.
Yeah,
You know, that if somebody finds that they've got carpentry tools they're not using anymore,
Yeah.
or a family member who's a carpenter has passed away and you don't know what to do with the tools, give us a call. You know, we may be able to make use of them. You know, rather than
Any particular tools or?
no, we'd have to really look through them. Really old power tools, we wouldn't use at all. If it's something that's newer and safe, you know, we'd be interested in looking at it. But it's better than just throwing them out. So if you're in doubt, just give us a call, and one or two of us will come down and we'll have a look at it and see if there's anything there that, you know, we can use. We don't really take too many wood donations just because we don't have any storage area for wood.
Okay.
So we only keep as much wood on hand as we need for that particular project we're working on. And almost all of our wood is new wood that's supplied by whoever's requested the project. So things like old pallets to take apart, we don't do that. It's labor intensive and the wood isn't great. And we don't have a place to store it. So
okay.
tool donations, that'd be fine. But probably wood, no, we would pass on that. We have had some donations, say for hydro poles that have been cut into big slabs, specialty wood like cedar. You know, so if you've got specialty wood like cedar and mahogany and maple and things like that, we might be interested in that. But generally, no, we don't have anywhere to really store it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So is that not a problem for you, like the storage space, or everything's good for you, working well?
no, it's actually working well, because then it doesn't allow us to have too much wood ahead of time, and we just have the wood, as I say, on hand to do the project we're working on. And that is, it's kind of nice now, and there'll be little bits left over. And some of the woods that are left over, you know, say that project we did for Margaret Lawrence House, we just supplied the wood for that because that was left over from other projects. So we didn't have to go and buy it for them. Yeah, there's always little bits here and there that we keep. But large donations of wood, no, we can't use that.
Yeah. Anything else that you would need, like support or
Well,
from the community?
we are always open to donations. As I say, we don't generate any money by selling any of our projects. Our only income is through donations. Miles for Mental Health has been wonderful. Anytime we are in need of finances, they are always there to help us. Beautiful Plains Community Foundations has, you know, when we've applied for a grant with them, they've been there to help us. And we've done a couple of projects for the TOPS group that work out of the hand office area. We built a little sandwich board for them. We weren't going to charge them, but they gave us a donation anyways. So, but all our money is from donations and grants. So we don't generate anything at community tables where you sell products and things like that.
Yeah. Any final message?
If you think this is something that you are interested in, if you're sitting at home and you're bored, whether you've got skills in carpentry or interested in carpentry or not, come on out and just come and have a chat with us. You may find that it's something that gets you out of the house a couple of days a week for the morning. You're going to make new friends. You'll find interest in the chat that goes around the table, since everybody's from different walks of life, so we all have different ideas on things. We laugh a lot. So if you think it's something that'll get you out of the house on these long winter days, come on down Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30 down at the Touchwood building.
So anything else? How do they contact you?
Well,
If they want to be a member, or if any community organization would like to get some help from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the town office, Arts Forward, the health unit. There are several organizations. The hand office has our pamphlets, and I haven't got one right with me, but they all have our pamphlets that tell us, you know, a few pictures and say what we're doing, what we're all about, and then it's got contact information on the back, and it's me that is the contact for those kind of things. Colin McNairnay, area code 204-841-1629. It's probably the easiest way to go about that. If you have the pamphlet, it's also got my email address on it. So whether you want to become a member, if you want to become a member, just stop in on Tuesdays or Thursdays from 9 to 11:30. If for some reason the front door is closed, it's because we're all in the back in the shop. But the back door is always open. And so just come on down and just say you're interested, and I will put down what we're doing, and we'll sit down and have a chat about it. And then you can, you know, all we ask is that you come once or twice and just experience what we're all about. If it fits what you would like to do, perfect. If it doesn't, great, thanks for stopping in. But have a coffee and a cookie anyways.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So